Hi. Is that your dog?
Yes.
Very independent creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the dog way before the people. What I mean by the big picture is that, like anything that's broken down into small pieces, like for instance, you're running, if you take a sample every 2 minutes, let's say, of your progress, and it could be uneven surfaces like this, or it could be doing intervals, but basically what I'm saying is that the more frequent the sampling, the more jagged the results, the more peaks and troughs, the harder it is to accept the abysmal drops and then the apparent rises in your running, let's say. But if you look at it over the space of 10 kilometers, it evens out and you find yourself much more comfortable with the thought. Now, if you broke it down to that first couple of 100 meters, you probably would have felt really bad and not enjoyed that little section one little bit. Now, I had Achilles surgery, as you know, this year, or last year in fact now, and that would have been absolutely tragic if I'd only been looking at the small picture. What am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do the next day? So much so that a lot of my friends were despairing for me. But because I had that long-term goal in mind, that little setback was only that, just a little blip on the radar. Nothing to really change the general feeling of my life up to then. That's what I mean about the big picture. Stand back, look at the picture from a distance, and try and imagine how you're going to get to that final place that you want to be. People make very, very short goals. They make them like a Boston Marathon. I want to be ready for Boston in May, that kind of thing, or April, whenever it is. But that is relatively short. This time ahead, it's only just a few months away, and you're going to be running the roller coaster of emotions every time you go out to run, because the closer you get to that crucial point, the more worried you're going to be about your training. So please send me your stuff. I mean, this is what it's all about. I don't want to do the show entirely on my own. I do get 1 or 2 contributions each week so far. I'm looking for the week when I can just edit and splice without having to put any content in. I do have 2 shows of my own that I am keeping going. At least 2 shows of my own. So, this is the running jackal coming down onto Blenkinsop Road from Mount Douglas with my 5 minutes of thought about the big picture. Tuesday, the 16th of January, and I'm waiting for the 39 bus to take me home after my 90-minute hike. So my phone is stashed back inside its little pouch.
Hi there.
Hi. So there definitely is a feeling of spring in the air. guess we have reached the end of a certain era of podcasting and entering a new one, kind of uncharted territory. But I think that Kevin and I have a good idea about accepting audio submissions for a corporate show, a group show. One more wave crashing and I'll do some video. It's a lot more likely that I'll catch it on video. So now I'm filming video. This is a storm coming in from the south. And that is San Juan Island. And these straits are the difference between Canada and the US. Just that. There's a lot of kayaking going on between the two islands. Because that is not the mainland, that is an island. A smaller island than Vancouver Island. I'm just going to run to this next bay and film a little bit more. I got 12 more seconds to scrub off and then I'll be back on pace. Unfortunately, after this little video interlude, I will have a traditional hike section as I run down this little sidearm. To film the storm. Quite a lot of force there. I wouldn't like to be in a kayak today. But this is where the camera audio would be useless to me. But, ow, I just got sprayed. So this is what a storm looks like on the Pacific coast. I'm going to put the camera away now and continue my run.
You're listening to the Lost Trail Runner podcast. Hey everybody, Ron here. If this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. You don't really miss running until you can't run. I've been having to walk for the past 5 days. This will be my 6th day that I walk. And, previous to that, when I'm doing my training plan, I only had like 3 days a week that I had to run. 2 shorter runs and then a long run, and then cross training, which basically was walking in between. And I got to the point where I wasn't even doing the walking in between. I was doing my running like I was supposed to. And that may be why I end up getting injured like I do. Instead of being very consistent every day doing what I need to do, I go, well, it's a cross-training day, and I really don't need to run today or walk or whatever it is. On my weekdays, I was trying to do, the things I needed to do. But I think when you skip those cross-training days and those off days and don't do anything, your body just gets used to not doing anything, and then all of a sudden when you try to get it to go out and do a speed workout, it's going, what is this? I'm not used to this, and you end up pulling something. And I think that's what I actually did in that race back in November, is I hadn't been really doing enough to be able to go out and race. Okay, yeah, I could go out and jog around and get my mileage in, but when it comes to actually running in a race and competing, I just wasn't ready for it, and I ended up pulling a muscle. So now that I'm having to walk and not be able to run for 6 weeks, I'm trying to get real consistent where I go out every single day and walk, starting the training plan over again. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I've got 5 days in a row right now, and today's going to be my 6th. And hopefully I can continue to do it. This coming week, it's going to get nasty out. The weather's going to be super cold and all that stuff. And my motivation really goes downhill when the weather's crappy. But I want to keep going. I want to walk every single day, get my 45 minutes in. That's what I've been doing. I know my schedule says 30 to 45, but every day I've walked, I've done 45. So that's what I'm going to continue doing. And hopefully, when time comes for me to start running again after, I think it's February 1st, I'll be able to start and feel good,
And what I really need to do is get my bike trainer set back up so on days like that, instead of just skipping a day, I can ride my trainer.
Hey, thanks for listening to today's podcast. We'll be here next time. Keep the emails coming in, and be sure to subscribe.
Hello, Kevin, and all the Extra Mile podcast listeners. This is being sent to Kevin because I miss the man. I wanted to send him a message from stormy British Columbia, Canada. Looks like a lot of our friends are injured or sick this time of the year. I'm really hoping that we all start feeling better soon. I'm running back on my second leg of a 5 miler. I've just made my turn at the 8-kilometer point, and just now I heard the 10-kilometer reminder. But I set a pretty modest pace today, so I've factored in some walk breaks. Yes, even the jackal takes walk breaks, just to give my heart a bit of a recovery instead of pushing up a hill. Hello. Good. I'll decide where to hike according to how I'm feeling. And that is about at this hydrant. Alright, so I have to take a left, and then I got some nice downhill. But I see a guy that by rights I should know, and by courtesy I will say hi to.
Good morning.
Hi to. I included my greeting into our conversation there. I didn't in fact know him, It is now 12 o'clock, and pretty soon, as I say, I'm going to have a glorious downhill to enjoy, which I am quite looking forward to. I'm probably going to be reminded that I'm
seconds ahead.
Still 26 seconds ahead, so I can walk a little more. You see what I'm doing? I'm using my exuberance to factor in some brakes. Hello. Where it is steep, I will not push the effort. I'm in this game for the long haul. As I crest, finally, the highest point in Gordon Head, I will say bye-bye to you, Kevin, and everybody else that's listening, and keep sending your submissions everywhere you can. Spread the love.
Workout started.
Let me just put this thing away. I don't want to drop it down my shirt. It's got to be in the pouch. Nice and steady today. I don't feel very frisky. Had a bad night's sleep. Well, because I have to go to Spain next week.
What?
Yeah. Because of my mother's estate, now that she's dead, they have to sort out the legal things. And for me to inherit any money, I have to swear in front of a notary that I am who I am. I have to show them my passport. I have to go to the police and check with them before they can liberate the money. Otherwise, they could be giving it to somebody who's just trying it on. A big con. Anyway, I'll be back a week later. So tell me, your dad, you visited, you chose 15 pictures?
Yeah.
Good. Did you see the video that I sent you?
No.
Well,
What was it about?
it's about making your own mats.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I don't think it's quite as simple as she makes it look.
I think I'd rather buy them.
Yeah, well, what did you say? They were $4.50 each?
$4 each.
$4 each. You probably have to add GST and
No, that's with GST
with the tax.
already. $3.75. So $3.75.
Plus GST makes $4. Well, I'm glad you came down to meet me. You must have been pretty confident I was going to show up. So, what you do is you take the pictures off the board, you put them face down on the mat, and then you put the cardboard on the back
Yeah.
and sandwich them all together.
Put them on the paper.
Yeah.
And then put the mat over
Over the top.
yeah.
And how do you stick the painting onto the mat? I mean, how do you stick the painting onto the board? With double-sided Scotch tape or?
I'm not so sure.
Well, what we should do is we should go to Island Blueprint together, and between us we should choose what we want to buy for 15. going to cost about $100.
What?
Well, $4 by 15 is $60 right there.
It is?
Yep. $4 by 10 is 40. And then $4 by 5 is 20. You should be knowing this.
Yeah, I'm a numeracy.
You're doing your, what's it called again?
Numeracy.
Numeracy?
Numeracy.
Something like that.
I thought it was
Numeracy.
I thought it was going to be 40.
No, because you got 15. 40 would be for 10. And how much does the back card cost?
I didn't do that one yet.
I thought you did. I thought you said they were 40 cents each or something.
Oh yeah, 10 cents each. Or no, 40 cents each.
For the back,
Yeah.
not for the mat. Okay. So that's another $6. Yeah. So we're up to $66. Well, it's still, you got to think of it, the big picture. You got to think, even if we don't sell any, at least we will have 15.
To sell.
Yeah, they're all ready to go.